distinguished guests and participants, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. May peace be upon us. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us in Untitled 40th Anniversary webinar with title Internationalization of Higher Education. What it is and why it is important. What are the challenges and opportunities, and how it provides substantial access in sustainable development goals. All of these questions will be addressed in our webinar today. And my name is Mekro Permana Pinam, and we kindly advise to everyone of you to remain seated because we would like to commend this program by singing the national anthem of Republik Indonesia.
Indonesia, tanah airku, tanah tumpah darahku. Di sanalah aku berdiri, jadi pandu hidupku. Indonesia, kebangsaanku, bangsa dan tanah. Marilah kita berseru, Indonesia bersatu. Hiduplah tanahku, hiduplah negeriku, bangsaku, rakyatku semuanya. Bangunlah jiwanya, bangunlah badannya untuk Indonesia Raya. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, tanahku, negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, tanahku, negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya.
Thank you. We move to opening speech from our beloved rector, Professor Fatah Sulaiman. Professor, the screen is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Micropainam. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh all distinguished speakers from University Indonesia, Dr. Ahmad Bukhari Muslim, Director of International Office of Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, of International Office Untirta, Quinton Tembi, Assistant Professor Public Policy, Monash University of Indonesia, M. Rizky Utama Saputra, Dr. Philosophy, Assistant Professor, Data Science, Monash University Indonesia, Dr. Dina Rahmawati from Untirta, and ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, on behalf of Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa, I would like to extend a big appreciation for the success of the event. In collaboration among institutions, Untirta, Monash University Indonesia, as their campus establishment in Indonesia. This event signifies our spirit of 40th anniversary, Dies Natalis of Untirta, to synergize, to innovate, and to gain achievement for the developing nation. Ladies and gentlemen, as a leading state university in Banten province and an emerging university in Indonesia, Untirta strives to innovate and contribute to development of higher education and human resources in Banten and Indonesia. Untirta takes a step forward in the action particularly in the campus internationalization. Although we clearly understand that the challenges we face in today's situation are demanding. It has been globally accepted that global mega trend in 2045 covers several aspects ranging from technological advancement toward demographic. Also, there are 17 global goals for sustainable development every country must accomplish. In addition, pandemic COVID-19 this every sector badly, including international education. Based on the ongoing survey conducted by US World Ranking, the pandemic greatly influenced the decisions of potential international students. Last, demographic bonus our country must embrace in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, therefore, to respond to those situations and winning the chance in the global participation, UNTITA has bold vision to be integrated, smart, and green. That is excellent, having character and competitive in ASEAN region by 2030. The underlying words in the vision are being competitive in ASEAN by 2030. In doing so, UNTITA has a strategic approach for campus internationalization. And this approach is taken meticulously, seriously, and executed step by step. Strengthening the management is one of the keys that is by optimizing our international office. Another approach we take is by expanding partnership to industries, NGO, and universities, both locally and globally. It is because partnership is to support national policy in higher education. Merdeka Belajar Kampus Merdeka. In addition, we are attempting to focus our international research that in line with our vision. Research on the area of integrated and smart system, green and sustainability. Fortunately, due to pandemic situations, communication seems borderless. We can communicate with other scholars from Monash University. For example, to talk about potential research collaboration. The next thing is we are participating in the international accreditation. Step by step, we urge faculties to get internationally accredited, such as from UNKA for international accreditation. In terms of sustainable and green campus, we are joining UE Green Metric World Ranking University. Ladies and gentlemen, we strongly believe that we are in the right path. Every element at UNTITA has been fully equipped and ready to embrace our international vision. This can be seen from our students' achievement globally. They took part in different global competitions and received satisfying results. We are so ready with campus internationalizations. To close my speech, I would like to hope that the result of today's discussion at the end will give us lessons learned from other institutions, especially in the knowledge of campus internationalization, and open a potential collaboration in the future. And I would thank all committee for your endless hard work and incredible effort in preparing this webinar. Your contributions during the pandemic era deserve some credit. And on behalf of Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa, by reciting Basmalah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I officially declare to open 40th this Natalis webinar with the theme Internationalization of Higher Education. Thank you very much. Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you again, Professor, for your incredible speech. And ladies and gentlemen, the moderator of this webinar is Dr. Dina Rahmawati. She is a coordinator of Untirta International Office and also senior lecturer in English Education Department, Untirta. But first, let us give the operator to text the photo all of us to make some documentation. Please go ahead, Nugraha.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, done. It's done, sir.
Okay. This is Dina. Please, the screen is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for the opening and introductions. Dr. Macro, is my voice clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, I'm very honored to be the moderator of the presentation from 3 distinguished speakers from leading university. Thank you very much to Pelita for giving me this opportunity. Earlier that there will be 3 sessions of presentations. The first presentation will be given to Professor Andrew McIntyre and the team from Monash Universities. And then the second presentation will be delivered by the Director of International Affairs of Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, Bapak Ahmad Bukhari Muslim PhD. And the third presentation will be presented by the Head of International Office of Untirta, Udi Samanhudi PhD. And then 20 minutes will be allocated for the questions and answer sessions after all the presentations are completed. So if you have any questions, just type your question. Okay. Internationalization of higher education has been a hot issue for many years. Yeah, numerous countries, institutions, and individuals have invested a commitment to the internationalization of higher education, whether for economic, financial, political, and ideological and intellectual reasons. In short, the concept and the practice variously implemented in universities. In this webinar, the 3 presenters will share with us about the rational challenges, opportunities, and dimensions and strategies of Monash universities, UPI, and also Untirta in implementing the internationalization. Without further ado, let's commence the presentation from Professor Andrew McIntyre, but let me firstly read his brief profile or curriculum vitae. Professor Andrew McIntyre is currently a senior Vice Chancellor, Southeast Asia Partnership in Monash University. In this capacity, he is responsible for establishing and leading Monash University Indonesia, the first foreign university in Indonesia. Please welcome Professor Andrew McIntyre. Hello, how are you today?
Thank you very much, Dr. Dina. Let me also say hello again to my friend, Professor Fatah Sulaiman. Very nice to be back with you again, Pak Rektor. The first thing I want to say is congratulations to Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa and to salute you all on this 40th anniversary. It's a fantastic milestone in the growth and development of your university. Let me say, we admire you. We respect you as a young, energetic, ambitious university. And absolutely, we see you, as Pak Rektor was saying, we see you as an integrated, smart, green campus, and we admire just the innovative approach you're taking in this very difficult time of pandemic. Yeah, and I'm sure that all the things we admire in you and we respect in you are also shared by President Jokowi. Yeah, I'm sure those thoughts were in his head earlier this year in March, when he was formalizing your campus for your big ceremony. So I just want to start by paying tribute. And I guess the second thing I'd say by way of introduction is that Monash University is also a young university. We're a little bit older than you, but not much. We're around, if you're 40, we're around about 60. And in the world of universities, that's very young. We have grown in those 60 years, just like you've grown in your 40 years. We have grown to become the biggest university in Australia. We have grown to become a very highly ranked university globally. I would say that we also share your commitment to social impact, and we absolutely share your commitment to the theme of today's special event, internationalization. This has been a long-standing priority for Monash. It's been built into our core strategy for 20, 30 years. And in my opinion, it has been one of the essential ingredients to the success of the university. It's so spectacular rise. And there is no clearer illustration or evidence of Monash's commitment to internationalization than Monash's decision to accept the invitation of the government of Indonesia to establish the first foreign campus in Indonesia. And I just want to say a little bit about us so that you can make more sense of the stories that my colleagues and I are going to tell you in just a minute. So the new Monash campus in Jakarta is a postgraduate campus. We don't have any undergraduate students, just masters, PhD and short courses. The areas that we are starting with this year is our first year. We have our orientation day for students on Saturday. So we're all very excited getting ready, and classes start next week. The programs we're starting with this year are data science, urban design, public policy and management, and business innovation. And our plan next year, with approval, is that we will introduce other new programs in areas such as public health, environment and sustainability, cybersecurity, and creative economy. Just the last thing I want to say by introduction, one of the most important things in our strategy as a new campus is partnership with other Indonesian universities. And the reason that I'm so pleased that you invited us to take part in this event today is that I am super hopeful that Untirta and Monash Indonesia campus can continue the work started by conversations Prof. Fatah Sulaiman and I had over a year ago to build collaboration between Untirta and Monash in support of particularly the priorities of Banten provincial government. So I'm really hopeful that we can do some good things there. And if anyone has any ideas on this in question, please let's pick them up. But enough talking from me, because what we thought would be fun for you, instead of just having me talking, is if two of our new academics, two of our, I'm going to say, hotshot academics, came along, and we had a little bit of, let me call it, armchair discussion, yeah? I just put some questions and answers, and maybe that will lead to some interesting thinking for you. And I've got two colleagues with me. I'm not sure how they're appearing on your screens. One is Rizky Saputra, and the other is Quinton Thembi. Rizky's a data science guy. Quinton's a public policy guy. But let me not tell their stories. Let me invite them to introduce themselves to you. And Rizky, perhaps I can go to you first, just to briefly introduce your background, what you do with us, and then I'll jump to Quinton, and then we'll dive into internationalization.
Right. Thank you, Professor Andrew. So first of all, thanks again for the Untirta for inviting me. So I'm honored to be here. So my name is Muhammad Rizky Utama Saputra. You can call me Rizky. I am assistant professor here in Monash University, Indonesia. My background is I obtained my undergraduate and master degree from electrical engineering and information technology in Universitas Gadjah Mada in Indonesia. And then after that, I continue my PhD in University of Oxford in United Kingdom. So I have experience as well working there for about 1 year or something in the area of computer science as well. So thank you again for inviting me. So back to you, Andrew.
Thanks, Rizky. And Quinton, can I just throw over to you in the same way, please?
Yeah, thanks, Andrew, and thank you everyone for having us here on your 40th anniversary. It's great to be here and to be here on this occasion. So my name is Quinton Thembi. I'm an assistant professor in public policy at Monash, Indonesia. My background is I did a PhD in political science at the Australian National University, but I also have a background as an exchange student in Indonesia, where I did a skripsi at Universitas Muhammadiyah Malang, and I also did some time at Rizky's alma mater at UGM in Yogyakarta. So I know and love Indonesia, and I'm really looking forward to being working back in Indonesia and to being your colleagues and indeed your neighbour in Banten in a neighbouring institution.
So Quinton, while the microphone's with you, why don't you keep going and maybe just draw in a little bit about how internationalization creeps into your professional path?
Right. Well, I think it's not a small part of my research and other work, academic life. It's in fact when I started thinking about the topic, all of the really exciting and I think most important research nowadays, I think, involves some kind of international collaboration. So, for example, many of you might be aware of Burhanuddin Mutadi from Lembaga Survey Indonesia. I've worked with him closely at my previous institution, Australian National University, and working with him to for example, do analysis of political trends where there's a collaboration at play between his quantitative data and then the more qualitative data brought to the study by other researchers. Another example of international collaboration that's been important to my work is working in Singapore with a range of different experts on social media messaging and analytics. And the problem with doing anything, I guess one of the issues is so much of what's important in the world now is transnational, is across national boundaries, whether it's climate change, and also whether it's issues like disinformation, cybersecurity. So what we did is we collaborated with academic partners from around South who have access to social media data and messaging in local languages, wherever that might be, Indonesia, but also the Philippines, also Singapore, Malaysia, and so on. And so without local partners, without partners in different countries, who bring together different skills, different qualitative, quantitative, and language skills, you really can't do research on some of these big, important transnational issues that are not limited to just one country.
Quinton, thank you. Rizky, let me jump back to you, throw the microphone back to you, just to build on your personal introduction and tell us a little bit about how internationalization comes to be in your story.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew, and nice introduction as well from Quinton. So I've been exposed to internationalization since I was in undergraduate degree. So in my undergraduate and master degree, I participate in many international competitions, such as software development competition or something like that. That is the first moment, like the first time when I went to different countries, like such as in Brunei Darussalam and then in Taiwan as well, to compete with other students around the world. So this kind of experience then lead me to apply for a PhD in Oxford. So that is the time when I experienced real international experience in which that I study with different people around the world. So especially in Oxford, it's not only about the students that come from everywhere, but also the academics also come from everywhere. So my supervisor came from Greece in Europe, and then my co-supervisor came from South Africa. So even the academic is not native UK, even though I study in United Kingdom. And of course, the students come all over the world, China, and then from European countries, from Asian, of course, like me, and from Iran as well, and others. And this bring what I call as my first exposure to international collaboration. So at that time, I worked with my colleague on a couple of projects that was funded by international funding body. So my supervisor got a grant from United States of America. So the project is about developing a positioning system for emergency responder. And at that time, we need kind of knowledge or experience from firefighters around the world, including from United States and also in United Kingdom, because we just know from that project that a firefighter work in different way in different countries. So for example, in UK, when firefighter want to, let's say, save people, they crawl or something like that, and then they also wave their hand in order to detect whether there is obstacle in front of him or something like that. But in US, they do things differently. And by doing this kind of international collaboration, we have new insight and new knowledge, and we can use this insight and knowledge in order to create some sort of innovative solution to solve a particular problem. So that's my experience of international research collaboration, Andrew. And I believe from this experience that shaped the way I think, how to solve the problem. So when I think about a particular problem, I always think globally instead of, of course, we also think that our solution should be able to impact locally, but at the same time, I want to reach global audience as well. So this is the experience that I got from, study in UK and other part of the world.
So Rizky, let me just pick up on your last point there. There's two really important themes. One is you think about global problems, and the other is you think about your audience as being global from the beginning.
Exactly, yeah.
Rizky, Quinton, let me give you both advanced notes so that you've got a little bit of time to think about it. And that is the best idea that each of you have for some things that we might be able to do with colleagues at Untitled. I'll ask that question at the end of our time, which is 5 or 10 minutes from now. But just sticking with this general research theme for a moment, I want to pick up on two issues. One, Quinton, Rizky, you and I were both on a call with our colleagues an hour ago. And one of the things we were talking about is how conferences can be a way of connecting up with others. So my first question is, in your experience, what have been good ways of getting started with research collaboration? It's one thing if you're already famous Professor so-and-so, but when you're just getting started, in your experience, what has helped the most? And my second question goes to something that Quinton touched on in his previous set of comments, and that was collaboration around Southeast Asia, within ASEAN. And what's in my mind here is whether either of you see particular opportunities for our university, for Untirta and other universities in Indonesia to do things around ASEAN. So 2 questions there. Quinton, I don't know if you want to have first
Sure.
go. Over to you.
Well, yeah, so the question was, what's the best way to initiate international research collaboration? And I think there's a number of ways, but I wanted to, if you don't mind, just zoom out slightly from that question, because it occurs to me that one of the things that's happened in the pandemic, one of the side effects, one of the silver linings of the pandemic, to make contacts, to run projects online, have been greatly enhanced and accelerated as a result of the restrictions on meeting in person. So I think that's something really great to take away from this dark period, and to realize we're going to come out of the pandemic with these enhanced international systems still in place. So, the world will be at our feet in terms of, just look at the platform we're on, Zoom, how much it has had to quickly develop in sophistication and scalability just in the last 24 months. And, Risky can talk about the use of GitHub and other platforms, but to go back to the initial question, I think academics love international collaboration in my experience, and it doesn't matter where you're from or what university you're from. A lot of grant-making bodies now require, or at least give merit to, some kind of international collaboration. And so simply emailing an academic who shares your interest. Academics are very nerdy, isolated people. If someone emails you and says, hey, I'm interested in the same thing as you, that's the best thing that's going to happen to you all day, potentially all week. So I think emailing people, but also meeting at conferences, meeting online, meeting on Twitter, wherever it may be.
Thanks, Quinton. Just before going to it seems so simple, so basic. Just emailing someone or getting in contact. And yet often we don't do that. And I think it's because we're shy or we're unsure or we're in some way scared that maybe the other person won't nicely receive our email. But what I'm hearing in your story, Quinton, and I know it from my own personal story, is that when I've got brave enough to actually send the message or make contact, usually the response is positive.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I just think that's one lesson that people might be interested listening to this discussion is don't be shy. Trust yourself.
Absolutely. Academics, we're often introverts, but we don't have to be.
Anyway, Risky, over to you.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Quinton and Andrew. So before pandemic, typically we come to conferences and talk with other people, to build some sort of collaboration. But now with pandemic, suddenly we can't do that. And then we have to communicate with Teams, with Zoom and etc. But I just realized that this is the thing that we thought is not possible. Now it's completely possible. So, cross collaboration across border using Zoom. So even now, Andrew is in Australia, Quinton in Australia, and I am in Indonesia. And we can talk together on some ideas, without having physical meeting. So this is the thing that is, 2 years ago, I will not think that it's going to be something common. But now after pandemic, this is entirely possible. And of course, with the advance of technology. So what I want to say is you should not, this pandemic and other kind of limitations should not limit you to collaborate with other people from around the world, because, we have a lot of technologies that can support this kind of collaboration.
Just before I put next question, let me just say, but Dina, I know we've only got 4 or 5 minutes left. We'll be very well behaved. Risky Quinton, let me change gear. Let me jump from research to education, teaching, and let me invite you in a fairly short way, just to put any ideas that you might have on the table about experiences with what works well from either things you've taught or things that you've been taught or things that you've seen elsewhere. What works well for trying to bring internationalization into the classroom? And don't forget, I've got that last question I'm coming to you with on any suggestions either of you might have for things we could do with Untitled.
I think what works really well is to borrow a jargon term, this concept of blended learning. So to have classrooms that have a strong online component where the online is not just an add-on, but it's integral to the studies. It's a way of, for example, in a course, a public policy course we're about to start in a couple of weeks, where after every reading, after every tutorial, there's a reflection phase of just writing a couple of hundred words online as a way to clinch the lessons from that week. That might sound like a small thing, but I think it means that online space is somewhere where it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can be part of that classroom. And so again, that's another thing that hopefully will stay with us after the pandemic, is this blended approach where the online and the offline is integrate seamlessly in the classroom.
Great comment, Quinton. Thank you. Right. Risky, over to you.
Yeah, blended learning is one thing, but maybe another perspective is active learning, in which the students should be, as active as possible in the class. So it should not be just, for example, me teaching and giving some sort of instruction or present something to you, but you should be actively ask question, and then possibly if you have some sort of different comment, you should be able to say that in the class as well. And I think with these two ways communication, it's not only about it's not only that we create some sort of vibrant learning communities, but we can create some bonding with our students. So we will be, when we create some sort of bond, like kind of bonding with our student, then maybe we will not be able to continue not only in the class, but we can do something else outside the class. Like we might do research together, and maybe sometime in the future, you'll become a successful academic, and then I can invite you to present in my class or something like that. So this kind of interaction is that I think is precious, especially like now when we have a physical limit capability. Andrew.
Thanks very much, Risky. We're in our final 60 seconds. Risky, Quinton, do either of you have any bright idea that we can throw on the table for possible collaboration with friends at Untitled? Risky, you've got the microphone. Why don't you go first?
Yeah, one of the things that we could simply do is we can work together, for example, on an article. Either is it for research or for public or something like that, in particular topic that both Untitled and Monas Indonesia are interested. So after that, maybe if it turns out to be good, then we can deepen our collaboration. For example, if you guys interested on doing things related to data science, then maybe we can also work on a research together, writing grants together or something like that. But I guess one of the simplest things to do is we can work on an article together with academic that interested with us with my research topic, either it is for like a paper, something similar like that.
Thanks, Rizky. Quinton.
Risky's just stolen the two ideas. I was
that's why I talk first.
Yeah, good idea, good tactic. But let me try to add another dimension to both of them. Monash Indonesia is going to have put a lot into, I think, platforms and research engagement. And I'm in public policy, so one of the things I'm very interested is writing up research and writing commentary and analysis that translates research into language for a general audience. And so that's something that I think we could collaborate well with Untirta on, especially because Monash Indonesia is going to have quite a focus on that kind of public engagement. And then on the funding and grant writing, that's something that no one likes to do, but everyone likes to kind of play the game and hope to win. And as I flagged earlier, there's quite a few grants now that require or at least give high marks to some kind of international collaboration. So particularly for those types of grants, for example, in Australia, we have specific linkage grants that fund international collaboration. We would be well placed to work with Untirta on those kind of collaborations.
Quinton, thanks very much. But Dina, just as I hand back to you, let me finish with saying just two things quickly. Friends at Untirta, if you like these two guys, okay. Quinton and Rizky, I have good news for you. We have lots of other really wonderful academic colleagues that are joining our campus. That's my first comment. My second comment is to repeat something that my friend Pak Udi knows very, very well, because my colleague Selvi Tanggara and I are always talking with Pak Udi. Monash Indonesia is very serious about its offer to partner with Untirta. We are very serious about wanting to be good neighbors. And we are very serious about wanting to join with you and support you, particularly in projects that will be beneficial to our province and our provincial government. But enough from us. But Dina, back to you. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Thank you very much. Firstly, thank you for the salutations, Prof. Andrew, and thank you to Rizky and also Quinton for sharing your personal experiences and also the offers. I believe, my colleagues in Untirta will be very happy to follow up, the next collaborations. So we can just send email to Rizky or Quinton, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much. If I may sum up from Mona's presentations, that internationalization is very multi-dimensional, but the points of internationalization is transnationalism collaborations. We collaborate internationally to accelerate. So internationalization is not a competition. Okay, the lesson, one more lesson I'll learn from Monas is that collaboration may start with personal approach. So don't be shy, just even to send email. Okay, moving to the second presentations. We are going to listen a presentation from Bapak Ahmad Bukhari Muslim, PhD. Bapak Ahmad Bukhari Muslim is a lecturer of English education from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. He was born in Lebak. So Pak Ahmad Bukhari is Bantenese. So we are very proud to have Pak Ahmad Bukhari in the sessions, and currently serve as the Director of International Affairs of Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, a leading and outstanding university located in Bandung, West Java, Indonesia.
Dr. Dina?
Yeah, very clear. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone, and very late afternoon to Professor Andrew McIntyre and also Dr. Quinton Temby from Australia. Also, Honorable Professor Fatah Sulaiman, the Rector of Untirta. Also, Dr. Udi Samahudi, the Head of International Office. Also, Dr. Meko Permana Pinem, Yes, before I start, let me also congratulate Untirta on the 40th anniversary of Untirta. I hope that this important milestone in the lifespan of Untirta will bring some goodness and benefit for the development of Untirta. Dr. Dina, may I share my slides?
Yeah, please.
Can you see it?
Not yet. I guess Pak Ahmad Bukhari has, okay, it's showing up.
Okay. Thank you very much. So once again, I'm happy to be on the same platform with Professor Andrew McIntyre and also Quentin Tamby. I also graduate of Monash University in Clayton, so it's like alumni graduations with Professor Andrew McIntyre and also Quentin and also Dr. Saputra. I did my PhD at Monash Clayton in education back in 2010 and 2015, so it's like 5 years ago. So I wish I could see you in person, yeah, because of the pandemic, so we made it virtually. And yes, Dr. Dina is correct. I'm also originally from Lebak, Banten, exactly from Lewi Damar. So I think people in Untirta know very well where Lewi Damar is, where the Baduy people. So my birthplace is around close to the Baduy people. And also that's why I wish I could come to Serang in person so that I can also go back my hometown to visit my family there. Okay, so in this presentation, I'm going to tell the story of internationalizations at Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, or we call it in Bahasa Indonesia UPI, but maybe Australian will call it UPI. So our university is also not very old, but maybe a bit older than Monash and also Untirta for the 67th of Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. So I'm going to tell you the story of internationalizations at our university. Yeah, so this is what I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to talk why we focus on internationalization at our university and also some dimensions of internationalizations that some experts have outlined, and also how internationalization also relates to reputations and what our university has been doing so far in internationalization program, and also the challenges that our university is also still facing at the moment. So it starts all with one of the strategic long-term strategic plan for university. So for this second phase in 2021 to 2025, we are expected to become a university of reference in educational sciences because that is our focus. Although now we become a comprehensive university, but education is our main motto or core business, especially in the ASEAN region. So that sparks our motivations to go for internationalization. So as previous speakers, Professor McIntyre mentioned, so I think it's a demand of globalization now. We become more mobile. Even as Mr. Saputra mentions now, even during the pandemic, now we can meet on the same platform because of this technology, help our mobility. So I think it's now also as experienced by Dr. Saputra as a global citizen from Gajah Mada University, and he moved to Oxford, to the United Kingdom. That's part of global citizenship education. And in ASEAN, I think we also regionally have agreed to be ASEAN citizens, one identity, that's the motto of ASEAN. And yes, I think Professor McIntyre also mentions when we talk about Monash is one of highly ranked university, reputable university in the world. And that's, I think, what each university is also seeking at the moment. And also, of course, Indonesia is one of the global South countries, and we also want to contribute to the discussion and conversations of international education, not only from those developed countries in the North global, but also a contribution from South global countries like Indonesia. And yes, Indonesia is also a unique, super diverse country with languages and cultures worth sharing with other people in the world. So our internationalization also follows what the American Council of Education has outlined, in which we need also to have support from our institutional commitments, from our top managements, the policy, leadership, and structures. And that's also followed by curriculums and co-curriculum activities, supported also by faculty and staff support, including the activity is also mobility. And also this was important, I think, partnership, as now Professor McIntyre mentioned, partnership between Monash Indonesia and also Untitled, and also I think that's also another possibility that we can see work together in this international partnership. So yes, so the purpose of our internationalization, of course, we want to have an international dimensions of curriculum and how we can provide international exposure for our faculty and students so that we can transfer knowledge between countries, between nationals, and also we can also support what Dr. Rizky Saputra as innovations in teaching and learning, and which also this will lead to the increase of revenue. I know that now education becomes a big business. I know in Australia, for example, education is one of the revenue for the government. And of course, the last one is that raising the profile of university. Although I know that the university is not as highly ranked as Monash University, but we are trying to do our best to be visible at international level. So this is our current achievement at the national level. Yes, we are accredited by BAN-PT and in the World University Ranking by subject in education, we are in 250. This is still far from Monash University. I know when I was at Monash, I know education at Monash is like, is it at the world or 8? That I remember. By QS rating, we also follow that star rating, although we got 5 stars in art and culture and social responsibility, but our overall ranking by QS star is still a 3, which we still need to work harder. So this is our achievement in university QS ASEAN university ranking, not in the world. So we are ranked in 500, and again by World University Ranking by subject. That's what I have mentioned before. But this is our target, which is also mandated by the Indonesian government, by the Minister of National Education. We are targeted to be in QS World University Ranking 2001, 200 by 2025. Yes, but that's target is easier said than done. I know that it's not easy to get that target, and we need to work harder, because based on a release by the Ministry of National Education, universities which are listed by QS World University Ranking in 2021, we have here University Gadjah Mada, Dr. Rizky's alma mater, Indonesia, Airlangga, and unfortunately, my university is not in the list yet, and that is one of our target of internationalizations. But we have a bit good news released by Time Education, I think last month, this September. For the first time, our university is also listed in Time Higher Education. I think it's ranked 3rd in Indonesia. So, but it's still 1,001, 1,200 in the world. So, with this rank 3rd in Indonesia and 23rd in Southeast Asia and 1,001 in the world, we still lack what we call here, if you look at here, we still have these 2 zeros score. That is in teaching reputation and also in research reputation. So this is our main weakness at our universities, that we need to improve the reputation of our teaching, the reputation of our research by way of international collaborations. So this means that our university is not really that well known among our counterparts overseas, although we rank good enough at the national level. So this is our internationalization statistics. So at the moment, we developing international classes, for example, whether it's undergraduate and also at master and doctoral level. We also managed to increase the number of our international inbound students coming from different countries across the world, and also increasing the number of international faculty members. And also we managed to send as many students overseas for exchange students as an outbound students. And also we also promote our faculty members to have international recognition so that they can have international recognitions and reputations. With other indicators also, we managed to increase the number of visiting lecturers from our universities, and also the increase of our publication. I think this is also one of the essential indicator of internationalizations, international peer review publications, and also citation for faculty. And also, of course, the establishment of reputable journals. At the moment, we have only 2 journals listed in the International Reputable Journal by SIMAGO and also Web of Science. And also, we are still increasing the number of our study program with international accreditations. So this is our internationalization program. So we exchange curriculum and learning material with our partner overseas and also nationally. The platform of what we call now MBKM by the Ministry of National Education. Also, we exchange faculty members and students overseas and also nationally. We also organize joint conferences and seminars. And again, one of the blessings of the COVID-19 is now such conferences and seminars become more flexible because we can hold it virtually as we are doing now. Yes, I think that's also what Dr. Rizky Saputra mentioned just now, joint research and publications. I remember one of my publications was jointly written by me and my supervisor at Monash University. I think that's one of the beautiful collaboration between myself and my former academic supervisor. We also developing this joint or twin program or dual or double degree programs with our universities, partner universities, particularly overseas. So this is our figures for international partnership. So we divide into ASEAN, Asian, Australian, American, and European. So at the moment, the largest number of partnerships is with Asian universities or institutions ranging from Japan, from South Korea, from China, and also from Central Asia. And also, of course, the focus is also on ASEAN region with ASEAN universities. And also, of course, with Australia as one of our close neighborhood, side of the world, from United America, in North America and South America, and also from European countries. So these are some of our partner universities in ASEAN, from Malaysia, from Philippines, from Thailand, from Vietnam, Singapore, in ASEAN, from Japan, China, South Korea, Taiwan, Uzbekistan. Yeah, I think from Australia, yes, as Monash alumni, I think I list there. Monash is one of our important partner in Australia. And also from United States, we have University of Iowa, Michigan State University, Indiana, and Illinois State University. And also from some European countries like from French, from UK, and also from the Netherlands. So these are some of our joint or twin degrees. So at the undergraduate level, we have partnership with some universities in Asia, for example, from Uzbekistan. So that is with undergraduate twin or joint degree in management and economy, with Yongsan University, that's in Indonesian studies, with Tomyong University from South Korea is also in management and computer science. At the master level, we also have this joint or twin degrees with NDHU, National Donghua University, Taiwan, in early childhood education and also in science education, and also from Hiroshima University in Japan, and with also Tomyong University, South Korea. In doctoral level, we also have partnership with Swinburne University of Technology in Australia, and also in Tashkent State University of Economics in Uzbekistan. This is our enrollment by countries in 2021. So once again, one of the hidden blessing of COVID-19 is that although we are more restricted physically, but now we have more flexible. So we have enrollment from students who are still in their home country. So we receive Sudan, from United States, Ecuador, from Greece, from Netherlands, who are still staying in their own countries due to the COVID-19. So hopefully the COVID-19 pandemic will go away soon so that our overseas students can come to Bandung, to Indonesia. So this is our some exchange students program. So for example, the short term, we have some programs, for example, 2-week program. So starting before the pandemic, we held only 1 or 2 summer program in 1 year. But starting last year, with the coming of the pandemic, because everything became virtual, online, so we increased the number of summer program at the university. So starting by 5 program last year, and this year we increased considerably by 15 summer program organized by different study program and faculties, and also regional campuses. And also with credit transfer, we have these aims: Asian international mobility for students, working together with Thailand, with Malaysia, with South Korea. We also send students majoring in education for practicum and student majoring in non-education with internship. So under the management of CMO office in Bangkok, Thailand. I think, I believe that Untitled also joined this program, I think. So we send students for teaching practicum or for internship to Malaysia, to Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam. So once again, this program may be on hold at the moment because of the COVID-19. So we do hope that we'll go on with the program in the coming year soon. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, so we have also joined in twin degrees in undergraduate, master, and doctoral in ASEAN countries, in Asian, and also with Australian university. So again, despite the pandemic, so our university managed to continuously develop and expand our internationalizations with our partners in ASEAN, in Asia, in Australia, and in other parts of the world. So this is our target. So we focus targeting on our close neighborhood, so with ASEAN countries, and then we move further to Asians, to Australia, with the hope that, yes, the closer geography location means ASEAN, for example, we know that we have similarity of culture and also about affordability. We also target small to medium-sized higher education institutions. So starting from universities which have similar size, a similar rank with our university, so that we can have an equal foot-on-foot partnership. We also start from short-term program, such as summer credit transfer, and then we move to a longer-term, the joint or a degree partnership. Yes, of course, this internationalization is not easy. As I mentioned earlier, it is easier said than done. So we, of course, still have some challenges in improving our performance in internationalization. So, for example, we still, to confirm our top management that internationalization is important for university, despite some financial consequences that university may have to end for these purposes. Internationalization on the importance of how making our self visible nationally and international. We also understand that we have made so many MOUs or agreement, but some of these are still sleeping that we need, revitalize. We need to reuse this agreement to be more effective. Now the issue is also with the language requirement. We know that English as the language of international communication is not the first language of Indonesian or even the second language. It's our foreign language. So that's faculty members, our students, our administration staff. And also maybe one of the strategy is by observing the bilingualism, by mixing the translanguaging between Indonesian and English in our classroom interactions. Yes, and the biggest challenge is also, of course, financial support or provisions. You know that internationalization is not that easy. So we need a serious funding provision for that one. But we believe that, as Dr. Rizky Saputra mentioned, with technology, I think the aftermath inclined to blend our offline and online in all our activities, despite the pandemic may have been our life. So I think this is the experience of our university. I do hope that this can become media for a more partnership between my university and Untirta and also Monash University. That's my presentation, Dr. Dinar Hamati, and thank you very much.
Budina, excuse me, your microphone, please.
Sorry, sorry, I'm still okay. Thank you very much, Paudi, for reminding me. Okay, yeah. The point we can get from the presentation from Pabu, probably responding to global internationalizations of higher education is a concept respond to global demand. Higher education needs to be responsive to the requirement, and setting up goals and step-by-step strategic plan is imperative to successfully achieving targets of higher education's internationalizations. Okay, let's move to the third presentations. Paudi, are you ready?
Last but not least, yeah.
Yeah, last but not least, Pa Udi is a lecturer at English Department of Physics, and he is the head of International Office of. Okay, Pa Udi, the screen is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Budina, and Dr. Rizky, Dr. Quinten, Dr. Ahmad Bukhari, who is also our teacher in OP, because I did my master. And with Prof. Andrew, yeah, we've been in contact for, I think, yeah, more or less one year, even more, because we've been talking a lot about our potential cooperation. I mean, Untirta and Monash University, and I think we've done some activities together. And then last time we spoke about the potential cooperation in research, which is very good. And as Andrew or Professor Andrew said, that sharing experience is always good. It's always then a good idea to also share an internationalization activities that is the agenda of most universities in the world. So I think this is an interesting phenomenon that everyone could learn each other. And this afternoon time, we are very, very happy to learn from, I mean, especially Untirta people who are participating in this event, to learn from both Monash University and UP in relations to internationalization activities. Right, so this is my time to share. Last but not least, as Budina said. Right, so I will position myself as a supporting staff for internationalization from an emerging state-owned university. So I'm going to share what Budina, Pak Mekro, and colleagues here in Untirta in the International Office in particular have been doing in relations to internationalization, which is one of the important agenda of the university. So let me start with something very common with the background. As I said previously, speaking about internationalization is speaking something that is, a phenomenon. What I mean by phenomenon, because now in almost, I believe, every developing country, internationalizations of high education is on their top list of agenda. So then Untirta is trying to strive and play a role and provide contributions, positive contributions in the fields of education, not only in the context of Banten province where currently Untirta located, but we are now trying to speak more and try to play a role more, which is wider than simply speaking about contributions in the level of Banten province or Indonesia, but we are now speaking about more and even wider contributions in the international or global level. But yeah, there are, I believe, challenges in doing both, as also have been explained by Pak Bukhari or Dr. Bukhari. To every university, which I believe even senior universities also experience almost similar thing. So what I'm trying to explain and to short and quick presentation this afternoon time will be providing an exploration and explanations of issues in relations to the internationalization activities in Untirta context as an Indonesian emerging state-owned university. We can now see very obviously, very clearly that Untirta tries to play a role in the international level. Starting from the vision, in 2030, we aim to have contributions in the Asian level. So in order to be able to contribute and play a role in this region, we equip ourselves with more and more experiences. And these experiences are built through cooperations with more experienced and senior universities, both in Indonesia and overseas. So in order to achieve this vision, that is Untirta being able to play a role internationally, particularly in 2030, we are trying to contribute in the Asian level. We are now striving to explore more potential cooperations with campuses overseas in order to strengthen and give Untirta more experiences in running programs that have international level taste. But yeah, if we speak about challenges, as we can also see in the literature, if we Google, for example, in Google Scholar, there are a lot of papers discussing challenges in the process of internationalization. And we in Untirta, similar to other contexts, which I believe are happening in most universities in Indonesia, especially those which are still emerging, trying to struggle to cope with the internationalization activity, these kind of challenges might occur. So in our context, this kind of challenges is also exemplified in UP context by Dr. Bukhari is clear and real. So we have problem with English. Okay, so this low proficiency of English, not with many of Untirta scholars, but some Untirta scholars, and then most of the students are having problem with the English. So one of the challenges that we are trying to tackle is that how we can help both lecturers and students in Untirta to have a better proficiency of English. And the second one is lack of awareness of university internationalization agenda. So then it's quite wise then to speak about how to build awareness in the level of members of faculty in Untirta, for example. This is one of the main agenda of the current rector, that is trying to make everyone alert with the issue of internationalization in our campus, which is very good, I believe. And then lack of academic and intellectual coaches among academic student and staff, and limited supporting staff for internationalizations of higher education. Not everyone in this campus are aware of the importance of internationalization. Even if they know that it is important, many of them or many of us are still trying to find out what to do and how to start. So I think building awareness of the importance of internationalizations in the area of this campus, I mean in Untirta, is still something that we still need to do. Then if we see what the government really do to support the internationalizations, international context, it's really, really, really clear that the support is there. The support has been given by the government by, for example, the financial support that is, provided much bigger than before to campuses in Indonesia. And then the introductions of business style management practices for major state-owned universities has also been well spread out and then well introduced by the government. And then the introductions of quality accreditation for higher education institution. So then the universities in Indonesia are now competing for international accreditation, as has been done by Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia and also Untirta this time. And Untirta has very potential number of students and lecturers to participate in the internationalization agenda. So if we speak, for example, about student exchange program, we have a lot of students that could be students that participate in those programs. So we are speaking numbers, we are speaking about potential for Untirta to be involved in the issue or the agenda of internationalization. Now, Untirta is becoming more aware of the importance of these strategies have been outlined in our university policy that is related to internationalization agenda of Untirta. So first and the very first, as I have presented in my previous slide, clear directions to be globally recognized has been outlined in the vision. So we are aiming to have more contribution in 2030 in the level of ASEAN. So that is a very clear guidance so that everyone in Untirta struggle to be able to achieve that goal. And then we also do massive and intensive publication. And then we expand more and more cooperations with campuses overseas. And we also start developing an international scholarship for Untirta, from Untirta for international students wishing to study here with us in Untirta. So strategy 1, clear directions to be globally recognized. What we do here is that to show a strong vision that must be recognized by every civitas akademika in Untirta. So students and lecturers in Untirta are exposed to, for example, its green university. So I think in the opening presentations by Pak Rector, its green university has been one of our big dream as a campus. And then we are also pursuing the leading faculties to be internationally accredited. And then we are attempting to be a center for food security, both nationally and internationally. So one of the main agenda of internationalization in Untirta is that for this university to be the center of food security. As massive and intensive publication, we are trying to encourage more and more lecturers and also students to participate in international publication. And then we are also doing through the international office, publishing the university through printed media and also online. We have websites that expose the activities of Untirta that is in line with the spirit of internationalization or the internationalization agenda of the university, and then publicizing the university through domestic and foreign institutions. We spoke, for example, with the embassy in Japan and then some other embassies in Asia to speak about Untirta willingness and dream to be one of the outstanding campuses in Indonesia that participate in international education agenda in order to provide impact internationally, and publicizing the university through individuals with their involvement in international programs and activities, including PhD programs. So we've just got grant from the government through ISDB project, and then we sent 22 lecturers from Untirta to have PhD overseas or to embark a PhD program overseas. And strategy 3, cooperation with foreign universities and institutions. This is also another strategy that we are trying to do and then to maximize. We are trying to build good interpersonal communication. I think this is a skill that is really needed in order to be able to be accepted by practitioners or lecturers or international staff in other campuses or in partner campuses, in order to speak further about potential cooperation between Untirta and those universities. And then forming teams for international collaborations, like what Monash University and Untirta is currently doing. We are trying to form a team for international research project through COA or Center of Excellence in Untirta, and then Center for Food Security in Monash University. And conducting initial activities or programs with the intended university to build interpersonal trust and then getting involved in international events. So this third strategy has been very, very impactful so far, because Untirta is able to participate more in activities that are run by partner campuses overseas. And the last strategy is providing an international scholarship. So through the international office, Untirta is now developing Untirta International Scholarship Program. So we are inviting international students to study here in Untirta. And then we are also having the mahasiswa program supported by the Ministry of Education and Culture. And then we also work together with POSCO Foundation. And then we create and agreed to have POSCO scholarship to support students here at Universitas and obligations by director to manage international activities or international relations with potential. This team support for internationalization in Untirta, we have these core values, and then we have these strategies in order to help the university to accelerate their internationalization agenda. And then the international office this time is starting with, again, rebuild the image and the positioning of Untirta. So positioning and branding of Untirta is one of the important steps in order for partner campuses to be more familiar with Untirta. With the integrated and smart campus, for example, we are really expect that those campuses overseas are familiar with Untirta as a smart and green campus, or integrated smart and green campus, with the Center of Food Security as one of the positioning and branding has been one of the main concerns of our work so far in this office. And if you see, we are trying to be more active in initiating international collaboration channels, and then we try to also accelerate of creating international networks. So these are all the roadmaps that we create in order to be guidelines for the staff here in our office to work to support the internationalization agenda of the university. And these are key activities that help members of the team here in the international office to focus on their activities or programs. So in the international office, or international office in English. So we have these 5 levels of activities or programs, and then what we developed so far are referring to these 5 brands or levels. Right, so these are some examples of key activities that we've been doing so far in our office in order to support the internationalization agenda of the university. So we've been involved in these programs. So we are helping faculties, departments in Untirta to run this kind of activities. So what we do normally is that to contact potential being so far to help the internationalization agenda of the university. And then for research project, we are now expanding our role as a public university. We want to have more and more, not power, but role in a much wider scope. And now we are working with 10 universities from 10 countries. We are now involved in this project, an international research project called LIT Educational Hub, enhancing the student experience of the digital university in the UK, China, and BRI countries. So this is an example how Untirta tries to play a role nationally and internationally. And this one is another research project that we are currently doing with some university partners in the UK and in China as well, about gendering in ILT. And then we've been doing this early of the year, and then we'll finish in 2023. And we are really excited with current display of result in Scopus. We see that more and more Untirta researchers or lecturers publish their papers or their research in Scopus-based journal. So if we see this increasing number or this increasing trends of publication among lecturers here in Untirta is something that we are actually struggling. Publishing in Scopus-based journal is not easy. That's why we really work hard to support researchers here in Untirta to publish. And then what we do in the international office is that to provide a forum or a discussion with researchers from partner campuses to share, and then to have, for example, a talk as a guest lecture to provide information about strategies to write and publish in highly international journals. And this is a program called Research Talk, in which the International Office of Untirta is trying to bridge between researchers out there in campuses overseas with researcher here, local researcher in Untirta. So this is a forum where researchers from every part of the world, from every country, from every university in the world to share their findings, their current studies in our program. And we've been running this for, if we see here, is a stock 7. So we've been running this program for 7 months, and we have invited more than 4 researchers from the overseas to join, and then we run this monthly. So we are very optimistic that more and more researchers from campus overseas to join and to share their current studies in this forum that we provide. So this is another example of activity that the International Office team do in order to support the internationalization agenda in Untirta. We create an online short course series program, and then this one is the first one that we did or conducted last semester, and then we are planning to do the same by this upcoming October. And another example of how we strive for accelerating the internationalization agenda in Untirta is that to have this guest lecture program. So now we are helping guest lecture program. So now in the department, in every faculty, we are offering them to have at least one, and then including the flyers. So what the department normally do is that to invite the students to join. So this is another strategy that we in the International Office do in order to support the Untirta's internationalization agenda. And this is another one. We really want to provide more and more opportunities for lecturers here in Untirta to have PhD study overseas. So this talent scouting program is the first time conducted here, started next month. So this is another strategy in order to boost the internationalization agenda in Untirta, that is to send more and more lecturers to study their PhD abroad. And then the role of international office, of course, is highly needed. And then this talent scouting is what we can do in order to assist our lecturers to have experience of studying abroad. And this is what we do in order to empower our leaders or key leaders in the university. So we have English for diplomacy programs that we run weekly. So every week we have this meeting in order to help our key leaders to boost their English. So we name it English for diplomacy. If you see Budina is here, this is one of the teachers. This is again another program that we aim to help the university accelerate its internationalization program. And yeah, we are very happy with the achievement of some of our students who has won competitions in the international level. So we have, for example, here research innovation on banana peel as a catalyst in biodiesel, got bronze medals 2020 and also this too. So as an emerging state-owned university, we are striving, we are trying to do our best to participate in this internationalization agenda. And then what we've been doing so far is what we can do in order to contribute more for the country in general, and then of course for Untirta itself in particular, which really wants to expand the role and the influence not only in the level of national but globally. And in 2030, as I have said before, we really want to expand our role and influence in ASEAN level. And then yes, our partnership, we've been working with campuses overseas, and then so far we have 20 active partner universities. So these universities have been agreed to run activities together with undersigned MOU, and then so far a lot of activities that we do in both research and teaching are with these 20. We have actually more than 45 partner universities, but these 20 are the most active and most productive partners so far. And these are the people who are struggling to support the internationalization agenda in Untirta. And I really thanks to all agenda in the university in response to the policy by the rector. And yes, again, that's what we can share about Untirta in general, about our mission, about our wish to participate in the international education agenda, and then our aim to participate in a much global interaction and to have more role, especially in the ASEAN level in 2030. And then the thing is that Untirta, a new and emerging university with a strong commitment to support this internationalization agenda of the government of Indonesia. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for a very comprehensive presentations, Pak Udi. Yeah. Okay, despite the opportunities of internationalizations of higher educations, English proficiency is still a challenge that Untirta needs to cope with. And hopefully from the presentations of Pak Udi, the students of Untirta can get to them. Okay, so now we are coming to the questions and answer session. So I invite participants to ask questions to the speakers. So you can unmute yourself, and then or you can type the questions in the chat box. Okay, while waiting for questions from the participants, I would like to respond to the offer, given by Pak Rizky and Quinten Timley, Andrew, about the collaborations of research. So what is the next thing we need to do, or we just contact them personally, or should there be an official agreement or something that we can work with?
So, Budina, I have two answers.
Okay.
One is yes, definitely. Through you and Pak Udi, we can make institutional engagement, to make any kind of, for example, some kind of formal framework, whatever would be comfortable on the Untirta side. Selvi and I can adapt to that. However, I would also say, in addition to that institution to institution level, it's very nice if there's just personal connection,
Okay.
So if there's somebody on this call who really liked what Rizky was talking about, or what Quinten was talking about, or any of the other academics on our website, please feel free just to be in touch directly. So in summary, let me suggest a two-track approach.
Two-track approach, okay.
Institutional official approach on the one hand, which we can definitely all academics at Untirta, or any academics at Untirta who would like to be in touch with. And can I just while the microphone's with you and me, Budina, while we're waiting for other questions?
Yeah, sure.
I just want to make a correction to something Pak Udi said.
Okay.
Pak Udi made a significant mistake.
Significant mistake, Udi. You need to highlight that.
Pak Udi said near the end of his remarks, he said, I forget the word you used, Pak Udi, but it was something like an emerging university.
Emerging university.
Yeah, I think that is a significant mistake. I think you can and should say a very rapidly emerging university.
Rapidly emerging.
Put the word rapid.
Rapidly at the beginning as modifier.
All right.
I'm being sincere here, Pak Udi. This isn't just making nice talk and jokes. 12 months ago, or whenever it was you and I first met, it was on another Untirta webinar. And you were exploring ideas for internationalization. And you were talking to Monash and to some other universities around the world. It's just so clear to me how rapid your progress has been since then. The things that you're doing, it's really impressive. And just while the microphone is still with me, Pak Ahmad Bukhari, so nice to meet you. And the thing, but I'm sure they will have the same view as me when we see what UPI and what Untirta are planning. These are really good plans. They're really good strategies. And the challenge is actually to stick to your plan, to follow it through. Anyway, enough from me, Budina, back to you.
Thank you very much, Pak Andrew. Okay, so rapid emerging university. So we need to, rephrase.
To add rapidly.
Rapidly. Okay. Thank you, Pak Andrew. Okay, let's invite for participants to ask questions. Is there any questions from the participants? Okay. Well, okay, again, while waiting for the participant to ask questions, I have a question for Pak Bukhari. As you, as the director of the International Affairs of Untirta, probably you can share more about the strategy, the strategic plan, of your office, to disseminate or to make the students and also lecturers be aware of, or be informed or get exposure to the plan.
Okay, thank you, Budina. Let me share my personal experience. Every beginning of the semester, when I come to new students, I always ask in the first week of the semester, how many of you have passport already? And I ask them to raise hands, and a few students raise hand, maybe 1, 2, 3 raise hand because they have already had passport. And most of them, they don't have passport. Then I ask them, okay, that's fine. Now I ask them, who want to go on your study, maybe graduate study overseas, UK or Australia, and almost all of them, they raise their hands. And they say, oh, that's good, that's great. But you know what? It's great now that the world has become smaller and smaller. In my time, it's almost possible, for example, for a student from UPI to have teaching practicum in Malaysia or in Thailand. Yes, what I did is, for example, I just did my teaching practicum just in Bandung, just neighborhood school. Right? But now it is openly wide for the students, you know, to have internship or teaching practicum overseas. And I said,
teacher program.
And I said, and that is impossible for the students to go overseas without having the passport. So I said, the first thing you have to do is, I will ask the student again by the end of the semester, and I will check the statistic. How many people now raise the hand of having only the passport by the end of the semester? I think that's one of my personal way of raising the awareness of internationalization among the students. So for them, and then I ask them if they have heard, for example, now what government of Indonesia is promoting the IISMA program. I think Untitled also, I think, participating in them. And then I tell them how beautiful it is, you know, going overseas, studying overseas in some prestigious university for 1 semester, fully funded by the government. And I said, and of course, all of them are very interested. And I said, yes, you can do it. That's opportunity is widely open for you. But the other thing is that you have to meet of getting the scholarship. One of them is your English proficiency. So now, from the very beginning, since you are now sitting in first semester, second semester, I think, you know, you have to start building and developing your English proficiency. So by the time you are in semester 5 or 6, when it's time for them to apply for this International Indonesian Student Mobility Awards, they have this potential to have met the requirements that they can become a global citizen. So Dr. Dina, I don't know if this answer your question, but this is only my personal practice that I do with my students, especially with incoming students.
Okay, thank you very much for the explanation, Bapak Ahmad Bukhari. Actually, to Untirta, UPI is a senior university, so there are a lot of things that we can learn, actually from UPI. Can I ask direct question? Is it possible for Untirta or Pelita to visit, visit UPI offline at a short time?
Yes, but I don't know, because now we're still in PKM, still in PKM 3.
Still in PKM.
So we are still not opening the university yet for a direct meeting, but maybe when the limitation is a bit lighter. So yes, of course, we are happy to welcome you to come to Bandung, and Paudi to have what's that one? Alumni reunion,
alumni. A very thorough and insightful presentations from the 3 speakers. Okay. Collaboration which bring benefits and enhancements to the collaborating institutions. A quoting from a wise word. Thank you very much to Professor Andrew and then Quinten Timby and Muhammad Rizky Utama Saputra from Monash University. Bapak Ahmad Bukhari Muslim from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, and Udi Samadi PhD for the very insightful sharing with us this afternoon. As a token of appreciations, I'll hand over a digital certificate to the speakers. Okay, I will send the sub files to Pak Andrew and Pak Ahmad Bukhari, Quentin, and also from to Rizky Utama. Thank you very much, Nugi. Okay. Thanks also to the participants of the webinar for your attentive participations. See you in the next webinar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ya.
Thank you, Professor McIntyre.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew, Pak Rizky,
Thank you.
Quinten, thank you very much, Mbak Selvi and colleagues in Monash University ya. Terima kasih banyak, thank you very much.
Saya izin lift ya, Pak.
Mangga Pak.
Mangga Pak.
Di atas bisa di Untirta Pak.
Ya, insya Allah ya. Saya sambil mudik ya.
Mudik. Di atas.
Saya tukeran dengan Budina ya, tukeran. Budina orang Bandung, Serang.
That could be a very good idea.
Pak, rumah saya juga di itu Pak Sarijadi, istri
Sarijadi.
Oh, berarti
blok 11
dengan tetangga Pak Arifin.
Iya, betul.
Ya, tuh nanti kita bertemu lah di Bandung.
Siap, insyaallah.
Nanti 2 kali pertemuannya.
Mun.
Ya, marangga sadayana atur
nuhun. Atur nuhun pisan, atur nuhun Pak, atur nuhun.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
We have 7 minutes left. If we have something to
wrap up.
Ini kayaknya baru
Many people
mau.
still here, ya?
Ada yang bertanya, udah pada.
Nggak ada.
Ya.
Andrew, ya, very.
Yeah, that's good idea. That's good idea.
Offering for MOU probably.
Ya, MOU and Queen namanya tuh susah banget. Mungkin itu ya. Yang harus di.
Quinten, sorry.
Ya, Quinten.
Yeah.
Okay. We can remove the participants, I guess.
Ya, kita bisa leave ya. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu.
Terima kasih ya participants.
Prof.
By the way, besok kita oke ya, pagi Cap.
Oke, akan ada di grup ya kabarnya.
Oke.
Ya, thank you.
Thank you, bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu.